Okay, requirement gathering again. Just to recapitulate, this is just like a recapitulation. So what are the deliverables that are delivered during or after the requirement gathering? BRS. BRS means Business Requirement Specification Document. Who works on these? BAs, Business Analysts. Okay, we are just reviewing whatever we discussed just now. What do they work on? What do these people work on? These people work on the client requirements, jotting these down in Excel or Rational Requisite Pro in English, right? And what do they do with them? They will produce a document in a point by point manner. So they will be called requirement ID and description and data to be used, and if any screens. Okay, so they will just note it down. Screens will be actually depicted by the SS. So example would look like this: requirement ID, requirement 001, and it says if valid user ID and valid password are provided, then login should be successful. That is one requirement. So now testing team will have to actually subdivide into different parts like valid, invalid, everything. And requirement 2 will be, okay, if invalid user ID and invalid password are provided, the login should not be successful. And there will be one more. If invalid user ID and invalid password are provided, what should be the expected results? All this will be jotted down. And after they jot down all these points, they will have a checklist also, just to check. Tick, tick. Walkthroughs. Walkthroughs are it's a kind of technique which in which they will set up a meeting and read out all the requirements and have them ask questions and answer them. So peer reviews will be, they will forward these documents in email and ask them to review. So Word or some tool, QA, QC, or any ALM kind of application lifecycle management kind of tool. So they will provide peer review comments, and again whoever is writing, they will review them and incorporate them or deny them, accept them, and that will continue until it's accepted. Peer reviews will continue until the whole document is approved. So approval is the final stage, and they will also answer some of these questions. Are these documents have right requirements, complete requirements, achievable requirements, or not, right? So once they do it, then the whole thing is said to be complete. Then they have the business requirement specification document approved. So what they will do is, at the end of it, they will distribute BRS doc. Distribute in the sense they will put it in the SharePoint or send an email to all the teams that are involved. Also, analysts and planning team will take care of these, take a look at these and produce wireframes and diagrammatic representation of these in English business requirements in the diagrams, so that everybody can understand. So those will be called system requirement specification document, and they will also go through the same procedure: walkthroughs, inspections, and peer reviews and stuff like that. Then finally they will distribute or deliver SRS document. And then system design people will again, who will take care of the system design? Technical architects. And what they will produce? Flow charts. And what kind of flow charts? Two kinds, HLD and LLD. HLD means high level design. So like I said, high level design contains overall architecture of the project, like this. You can Google of the real image, you can see, but it will look like this in textually. I just put it in Notepad. Home page, main module, and which leads to login module, then mail module, then chart module, then whatever module, then logout module. Okay, so this should be the overall architecture, more or less. It's not necessarily this should be. Okay, so let's see LLD, low level design document. It would actually go in detail into these all of these modules. Contains internal architecture of each module. Like for example, if I take login module, just this module, it would specify what is the different flows. If user provides user ID password correctly, okay, check yes, then it will go to the next page. If any of these is wrong, invalid, it will go to the database and check and come back and ask you question again, enter these. So that should be the flow. It actually represents diagrammatic representation of how the flow should be. So technical flow chart, there are different symbols for the technical flow chart. I'll just show you so that you'll understand. Okay, so these are the different symbols used in the technical flowchart document. If any of you has any idea, you will understand, but that's okay because this is not our job, but it's good to understand. So mostly this symbol is used for the decision, yes or no. So in case of this, true or false check, user ID entered correct or not, so this decision is made. So just to represent that, they will put that in this decision, yes or no. And data termination is produced by this, and process, whatever process you want to represent, it will be represented by the this rectangle, and the circle will be for sequential data, and data will be put in the this trapezoid kind of thing, this one manual operation. So various representation will be done. Okay, so this should be the good example. I'll share this with you, or you can also Google. And if any of you can see, you can understand this. So the pass examination and register with something, and there is need to be made decision like yes or no kind of decision. So if yes, it will go to this, and arrow will represent what is the direction of this flow, and it will go here and go here, this direction. If no, you repeat it, and finally end this. I can pull up just like this, but yeah, just like this, and each flow will represent the arrow mark, so that you know which direction the flow is going. Let's see, technical design. Yeah, so this should be the good example. Okay, so this is about some project, and it starts here. So this is the starting point, some kind of flow. Don't worry about that. And so it's going this way, and system design concepts and simplifying assumptions, whatever it is, and it's going this way. And finally, you need to make some decision, agreement or disagreement. So you just replace this with anyone, like you are entering user ID, password. Valid, yes, go this way. Not valid, go this way. And if something is right, go this way. Okay, so color coding also tells like if it is successful flow or failure flow. And finally, everything leads to this way. So mostly it will be represented in diagrammatical fashion, so that the developers can understand what is the flow. They can put if conditions. If something happens, go this flow, else go that flow, and repeat this flow in a for loop, stuff like that. So that's technical, purely technical, which is taken care by the which is between the design team and the development team, but it's good to understand as a test team member. So and okay, so I just put some what are the different symbols that are used in technical design. Like rectangle means it's representing the process, rounded box means start and end, diamond is used for the decision making, parallelogram is for input output operation, the input output wherever you're putting input and getting output, circle is used to join the flow chart with another flow, and each of these elements are connected by a arrow. So and they have their own checklist, like they will check whether these diagrams are right and complete or achievable and automatable. So then they will forward these deliverables. So the deliverables for these technical people will be HLD and LD, high level design and low level design. So after this, implementation starts, and parallelly it could start. So depending upon what kind of methodology they are following. If they're following Waterfall, they have to wait until the technical design is done. They will start coding. Otherwise, if it is Agile, they will do it parallel processing. So it's totally dependent on the project. And implementation, who does it? Developers using what? Java or .NET coding, whatever it is. And DBAs are involved into because they have to design the database and create tables and architect them. And integration team will also involve parallelly because they need to develop the web services, SOAP or REST APIs, whatever the case may be. And tools they will use is different, Eclipse or IntelliJ, or for database Oracle, Toad, SQL Developer, right? For integration team, they will use MQ, SoapUI, Postman. And what kind of technologies they use? Java, .NET, PHP, Oracle. Okay. And they will also perform some kind of testing, which is called unit testing. So that's basically to check their own code, like whether the conditional structures or loopings are working fine or not. So this does not replace the actual system testing done by the manual tester or automation tester. That is their own coding testing. So you still need to do your testing. So then unit testing, they will follow their own testing techniques, which we will discuss later, which are called Whitebox testing techniques or open box or clear box. Just good to know. You don't need to know about this because you're not as a team member, testing team member, you don't need to perform Whitebox unless you're working on the SDLC position. SDLC position also you don't need to. You just need to be working hand in hand with the developers. So it is good to know. They'll just follow some kind of techniques like basis path testing, control structure testing, program testing techniques, and mutation testing. So basis path testing is to check whether the program is running or not, whatever the code they have written, just understand that. And control structure is to check whether the programming is running correctly or not. And program testing is to check whether the programming is running correctly and falsely or not. So they will just alter some condition and put wrong condition and test expect it to work negative way and stuff like that. Okay. And mutation testing is to check whether the program is not running if they put the wrong code. So if they put right code, they have to work. Otherwise, they should not work. So they will test both positive and negative way. And integration testing will basically work on this web services, the integration thing. So they will follow a couple of approaches like top-down approach, bottom-up approach, hybrid approach. So there will be modules, for example, login module, home module, and chart module, etc. And let's say main module is complete and some of the sub-modules are not complete, let's say chart module. So instead of application coding, temporarily just to get going with the testing, they will create a shell script stub chart module. So this will replace the non-implemented module. And bottom-up approach means main module itself is not complete and sub-modules are complete. So to compensate for the main module, they will just create a driver that will replace. Hybrid approach means it's a combination of both. So some top main modules is not present, some of the sub modules are not present, so they will create drivers and stuff. So you can ask the integration team or system integration team to give them the steps so that you can get going with the unimplemented application parts. And system approach means all modules must be finished, then only testing occurs. So this is a good approach because you don't need to wait, you don't need to deal with these shell scripts of stubs. So the best way is to, I mean, in Waterfall methodology, you just wait until all the application is implemented, and then you can start your testing. And as a system testing, which is the main, so I'll just put a star mark for this. Who does this? Testing team, obviously. And what do? They verify the customer requirements in terms of functionality using black box testing techniques. Okay, so we will know about this black box testing techniques later because this is the chapter in itself. So I'll cover it later in different life cycle, which is a testing life cycle. And software testing, they use black box testing types. Both are different. Techniques are different, types are different. So those are called usability testing, functional testing, and non-functional testing. Okay, so these are the three different types of testing. So we will know about these three different types of testing in the next class tomorrow, and I'll stop it here. Any questions so far? Okay, so your homework is this. What you will do is you just jot down what are the different aspects of the software development life cycle just in one sentence, whatever you understood in one sentence or couple of sentences, of course. Write them and send them to the I mean same email, or send it to Asad or Russell, so that we understand that you understood. So in your own words you can specify, because this is a first class, you don't, there is no homework as such. Just explain what do you understand by this software development life cycle. Okay, the main stages at least: requirement gathering, analysis and planning, system design and implementation, and system testing. So I will end this session here. Any more questions? Okay, so talk to you tomorrow, guys. Bye bye. I will send these notes to you. You can refer to this and do the homework. Okay, so your homework is, I'll mention right here where we stopped. So I'll explain this again tomorrow. So I'll just put down homework here. Describe the various parts of SDLC. Okay, so that's simple. Okay, I'll send these notes to you and catch you tomorrow.